Did you know that your entire reality and everything that you perceive and experience is actually the creation of your own mind and personality? Today, we will go deep into the teachings of Vedanta to uncover the hidden relationship between our personality and our personal reality. And if you truly grasp the essence of this video, you can be the master of your destiny. The Adhvaitha channel is about consciousness and conscious creation. Here we explore Vedanta and various other ancient teachings from India to understand the nature of reality and to consciously create our lives. In part 1, let us understand some concepts that are essential to understand the nature of personality and how personality creates personal reality. These concepts are karma, vasanas, vrittis, samskaras, and prakriti. If we understand these 5 concepts of Vedanta, we will begin to understand how each of us have created our own personal realities while being unconscious. First, let us talk about karma. Karma, as you all know, comes from the Sanskrit word kri and it is action and memory. Basically, as per the teachings of Vedanta, our subtle body or Sukshma Sharira goes through various physical bodies through different lifetimes and it accumulates memory. Every action we perform at the physical level, at the mental level, at deeper subtle levels will leave an impression on the subtle body and it simply remembers what it has done. And at certain point in time in the future, these impressions will find manifestation somehow. This is the effect for the cause. This is karma. And as per Vedanta, this karma that we have accumulated from thousands and thousands of lifetimes has given rise to our vasanas, which we have today in this life. Our vasanas are nothing but our deep tendencies. If we look at the nature of our personality, each of us are a certain kind of a person in the deepest level. Some are kind, some are angry, some are loving, some are generous. These are deep seated tendencies which make us who we are today. And these vasanas give rise to vrittis. Based on our deepest tendencies, we think different thoughts. Vrittis are nothing but thoughts which are the movements that occur on the surface level of the mind. And the thoughts that we keep thinking become our belief systems. These belief systems or behavioral traits are samskaras. Based on the thoughts that we think every single day, we either create a samskara and integrate into our personality or we reinforce our existing samskaras. And these samskaras, vrittis, vasanas, all put together make our prakriti. Our prakriti is our nature. This makes us a certain kind of a person. Basically, our prakriti can be understood as our personality. All our belief systems, thoughts, etc. put together makes our nature and our personality. And as Krishna says in Gita, our beliefs make us who we are. And as Astavakra says in Astavakra Gita, Yamati Sagati Bhavet. However, we keep our mind, such a life we live. This tells us that our personality creates our personal reality. Based on the nature of our personality, we have created a reality for us based on the belief systems, based on the self view, based on the world view that we hold deep within our subconscious. We are experiencing a certain kind of life in terms of wealth, health, relationships, spirituality, etc. So, our internal states is responsible for our external reality. Our personality is responsible for the personal reality that we are experiencing. This is the secret that we need to grasp, and this is the fourth principle of the conscious creation code, that is marma. With this, let us come to the second part of the video where I will talk about the infinite potential. In one of our previous videos, we covered this in great detail. I talked about how we can look at this reality and we can look at this infinite consciousness that Vedanta speaks of as an infinite potential where all realities, all possibilities, and all potentialities exist here and now. This is the best way that I have found to explain reality based on what I understand. This reality is simply an infinite potential. Everything exists here and now. But because of the nature of our mind, and since our mind is a product of Maya, that is the time space reality, we experience a certain aspect of this infinite potential in the canvas of time space, one experience or one event at a time. The sequence that we are experiencing and the way in which we are experiencing this reality is not the way in which reality actually is. This is an illusion as per Vedanta. This is Maya. Reality, in fact, is beyond time space. This ultimate reality, which is beyond time space, is described as Brahman in Vedanta. Brahman is the infinite potential, and this is all there is, and this is who we truly are in our essence. And once we begin to tap into that infinite potential, which is essentially who we are, we will begin to experience true fulfillment and holistic abundance. And this should be the goal to each and every one of us. Now, in the previous section, we understood how our karma gives rise to our vasanas, and the vasanas give rise to the vrittis. Vrittis reinforce samskaras. Samskaras put together create prakriti, and based on this prakriti or our personality, we perform different actions again, and this action again constitute to karma, and it goes on adding up to the sanchita. So this is the unconscious cycle in which we are in. To break that, we need conscious creation, and that is what our channel is about, and the Adhvaitha conscious society is about. So basically, our karma has given rise to our personality, and our personality is responsible for the personal reality that we are experiencing currently. And as we also understood, this reality, the way we are perceiving it, this duality and the world that we see all around us is Maya, and it is a projection. But here is where the story gets interesting. Even though this is a projection, this is not a random projection. There are certain laws, there are certain principles based on which this Maya operates. And one of the principles based on which this reality works is the personality creates personal reality. So each of us, although share a common reality as the citizens of this world, each of us experience this world in a different way. It is as though each of us are wearing a virtual reality headset, and we are experiencing a slightly different variation of reality based on the programming of our mind and based on our belief system, self view, and world view. It is very important for us to understand this because even though we are in the same world, the way you are experiencing reality and the way the person next to you is experiencing the reality is very different. The view of sunrise is same for all of us, but one person might enjoy it and another person might find it irritating. So each of us have created our own personal realities based on our nature, and if we change our nature, we can change our personal reality. Now let us come to section 3, where we will talk about crafting a new personality consciously. We understood earlier how our personality creates our personal reality. So it makes sense to say that if we change our personality, we will change our personal reality. But before going there, we must understand one thing. Vedanta clearly says that absolute fulfillment can only be attained by realizing the absolute, by attaining something in the external world which is transient by nature, which is an illusion. We can never attain absolute fulfillment. We might get a little high here and there, achieving something in the external world, but this will never lead to absolute true fulfillment as per Vedanta. With this understanding, we can go on to see how we can make our life a little comfortable. If you want to create a certain kind of life for yourself in terms of wealth, health, in terms of good relationships, and in terms of holistic abundance, we can make use of the principles of Vedanta to consciously craft our new personality. In order to do that, one needs to master clarity. We need to be clear on three important things. The first thing is what? What do we want from life? What do we actually want to experience? Just think about this. If there were no restrictions, no limitations of resources, money, etc., what would you do in this life? How would you live your life? This is your ideal life. This is the what. Second is the why. We need to go deep and inquire and see whether our desires and whether our vision for life is coming from a deeper place or it is coming from conditioning. Most of our desires come from unconscious conditioning. We need to go beyond this in order to see what we truly want to do with this life. This is why. This is the reason why we wish to live our ideal life. And third is who. This is the ideal personality. What kind of a personality would be compatible with this personal reality? We need to go very deep here and we need to actually design an ideal personality which is compatible with our ideal life. Once we design our ideal personality, the types of thoughts this person thinks, the types of beliefs, the types of samskaras, the types of worldview and self view this person holds, we can then transition into that personality in order to experience our ideal life. This is the science behind conscious creation. And there are a lot of things that I can talk about here. We need to discuss how we need to break free from our limiting beliefs. We need to also look at coming out of our old patterns of thinking, etc. But we will keep this for another video. In this video, I hope you got a clear picture on what our personality is and what is responsible for our current personality and how by transforming our personality we can transform our life. And if you want to pursue consciousness and conscious creation further, we have a 30-day email course that we call Conscious Creation 101. In this program, you will get one email on one topic every single day for 30 days. And within these 30 days, you will get a complete picture on what this reality is, what consciousness is, and what conscious creation is. Through this, you can begin to consciously create a life of fulfillment and abundance. If you want more information on this, check out the link in the description. And if you want to understand conscious creation further, and if you want to understand the 9 principles of conscious creation, watch this important video that we had made on the conscious creation code. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one. Subscribe to Adhvaitha to wake up. Shivoham.